Welcome to Gamecock Extra. I'm Chandler Mack. It is the open week for South Carolina, and it comes at the right time. USC is 2-3 for the first time under Shane Beamer and are coming off of a 21-point loss to Tennessee in Week 5. Locked On Gamecock podcast host Andrew Lyon joining us now via Zoom. Andrew, let's talk about the Gamecock offense. Spencer Rattler has done his part. He leads the SEC in completions and is top 5 in passing yards and completion percentage. Xavier Legette is third in the conference in receiving yards, and it appears Carolina has found its RB1 with Mario Anderson totaling 188 rushing yards over the last 2 games. But Andrew, that offensive line is still a work in progress. The unit has given up an SEC high 22 sacks, including 6 to Tennessee. In your opinion, do you feel the problems on the O-line can be fixed? And if so, what goes into that process?
Chandler, for right now, I would say no. I would say that South Carolina fans are going to have to exercise a lot of patience. And admittedly, it's a multifaceted issue, right? You got a bunch of new starters up front, including true freshman Tree Babalade at left tackle. You saw right guard Trevon Ball make his first career start against Tennessee this past Saturday night. Obviously, not an easy task for a true freshman. And you've got a bunch of offensive linemen that are out right now. And as Shane Beamer said during his press conference this past Tuesday, having that many guys hurt, it affects how you can practice. Those guys are able to get maybe the kind of reps that they were able to get during preseason camp. And so this is a unit that's just going to have to work through their growing pains. They're going to probably get better as they get more experience, especially against some of those younger guys, but it's not going to be an overnight fix by any means necessary.
Gotcha, Andrew. And on the other side of the ball, Clayton White's defense is tied for third in the SEC in interceptions, but that is the lone bright spot. Let's take a look. They're giving up an SEC worst 443 yards per game. They rank last in pass defense, last in tackles for loss, and they're in the bottom half of the league in rush defense and scoring defense. And yeah, we can say the schedule was tough, right, Andrew? But it's the SEC. The schedule isn't going to get any easier. What do you think needs to change for the Gamecock defense?
Chandler, I think that defensively, they've just got to step up at every single level, right? When you talk about the players, you've seen a guy like TJ Sanders step up on their interior defensive line. You probably need to see a couple more guys take the next step along that front. Maybe a guy like Jordan Stratton, who obviously has been working his way back from the torn ACL that he suffered early this past football season. Also, maybe a guy like Tonka Hemingway, who has kind of been coming on the past couple of weeks, but maybe hasn't created as much disruption as maybe the Gamecock staff might have envisioned coming into this year. Again, you need to have some guys get healthy. Obviously, the bye week is going to be great for that. But also, you need to see some guys step up at the player level and also at the coaching level. I think Champion would probably tell you, you got to play better, but you also got to coach better as well. So Clayton White's probably got to go back to the drawing board and figure out if there's any way that he can create more opportunities for his guys up front to maybe make more plays against some of these SEC opponents. Because as you said, the road's not going to get any easier in the second half of the season.
Andrew, I had the Gamecocks going 9-3 this season, so that means they need to win 7 straight games, and I have a few keys for them to do that. On offense, Spencer Rattler still has to be elite. Then the offensive line, they don't have to necessarily be super, Andrew. They just have to be what they were against Mississippi State, Georgia, and Furman. In those games, they only gave up a combined 8 sacks. And then on defense, you have to be consistent with stopping the run. They have to develop a pass rush, and they have to limit big plays. Those are my keys. Andrew, what are your keys for the Gamecocks to either live up to my prediction or at least get to 8-4 or 7-5?
Well, Chandler, to start off on the offensive side of the ball, you have to see that running game continue to come along with Mario Anderson Jr. now having sort of taken over the reins at that running back position. You need to see another guy step up alongside Xavier Legette. Is it going to be an Omega Blake? Could it maybe be 5-star true freshman Nicholas Harper? One of those guys needs to elevate their game as well. On the defensive side of the ball, I would say that right now, you've got to see either rush defense or pass defense take a step forward. It might not exactly might not be a great expectation to see both facets of the defense elevate, but, can you at least, help yourself out in one area of the football game? And then just overall, Chandler, you do have 5 home games remaining on this schedule. And as tough as this first 5-game stretch was for South Carolina, they're going to be living in Williams-Brice practically for the next couple of months. So you got to defend your home turf. If you could do all of those things, then yeah, there's definitely still a path for South Carolina to get to 7-5, maybe even 8-4 by season's end.